The Galaxy S25 Ultra might be one of Samsung's most debated launches yet. Critics and users alike are calling them out for playing it too safe, and they're not entirely wrong. After a full month of real-world testing, I can say firsthand that the hardware upgrades aren't as groundbreaking as many had hoped, especially with Android competitors pushing boundaries. But does that mean the S25 Ultra is a bad phone? Not necessarily. Despite the controversy, there's still plenty to appreciate. Samsung may not have redefined the flagship experience, but they've fine-tuned what was already one of the best in the game. So, who is this phone really for? And more importantly, who should skip it? Let's dive in as I break down where Samsung got it right, where they fell short, and what could have been. Design, subtle tweaks, or missed opportunity. Many people are criticizing Samsung for making minimal design changes, but I don't fully agree. At this point, smartphone design has little room for drastic overhauls, and within those constraints, Samsung did make a few notable tweaks. They rounded the corners, adjusted the camera module, slimmed down the frame, trimmed the bezels, and opted for completely flat sides. That's actually a fair number of refinements. And let's be honest, Apple reuses the same design for years, yet no one seems to complain. But suddenly, Samsung doing the same is a problem? Now, do I personally like these tweaks? Not entirely. I appreciate the lighter weight and slimmer bezels, but the flat sides make the phone feel bulkier, even though it's technically thinner than the S24 Ultra. The sharper edges might even double as a fruit slicer. Samsung softened the corners for comfort, yet the edges feel harsher than ever. If you're using a case, it's not a big deal, but if you prefer going caseless, the S24 Ultra simply felt better in hand. Additionally, I'm not a fan of the softer design language. The S24 Ultra had that classic, boxy Ultra look, a direct nod to the Galaxy Note lineup. Now, that distinct identity feels a bit watered down. Performance, an absolute beast. Let's talk about something Samsung nailed: performance. This phone is an absolute powerhouse. The combination of One UI 7 and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 Elite makes everything feel incredibly smooth and snappy. No matter what I threw at it, high-intensity gaming, multitasking, or even using DeX, there was no lag, no hiccups, just pure speed. Interestingly, Samsung is using a custom version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 Elite, and it's actually more powerful than the same chip in other phones. So, if you're looking for top-tier performance, the S25 Ultra delivers. But raw power means nothing without proper thermal management. A powerful phone that overheats and throttles is useless. Thankfully, Samsung got this right. Thanks to a larger vapor chamber and solid software optimization, heat management is impressive. Even after nearly an hour of maxed-out gaming, I didn't notice significant heating. Battery life, good, but falling behind. On average, I ended my day with about 30 to 40% battery left, with roughly 6 to 7 hours of screen-on time, slightly better than what I got on the S24 Ultra. Honestly, I'm satisfied. I only need to charge it once every 2 days, which is great. However, here's the issue: it's 2025, and good isn't enough anymore. Chinese brands are pushing 6,000 mAh batteries with silicon-carbon technology, allowing them to increase capacity without increasing size. Meanwhile, Samsung is still sticking to the same old battery tech. I get that they've had battery issues in the past, but it's time to step up before they fall behind. Another area where Samsung refuses to keep up is charging speed. We're still stuck at 45 W. Yes, they now include a slightly faster USB-C cable, but come on, Samsung should be pushing at least 65 W by now. Some competitors are exceeding 100 W, and it's about time Samsung caught up. Audio and haptics, small but meaningful changes. One noticeable upgrade is the speakers. The speaker cutout is visibly larger than on the S24 Ultra, and the difference in audio quality is clear. The S25 Ultra delivers richer sound, deeper bass, and an overall improved listening experience. Haptics, on the other hand, remain unchanged. They're still solid, nothing to complain about, but also nothing to get excited about. Feature cuts. Samsung's trimming spree continues. Every year, Samsung removes features from its phones. First, it was expandable storage, then the IR blaster, the headphone jack, and even inbox chargers. Last year, they ditched the 10x telephoto sensor for a 5x lens, which, to be fair, was the right call. This time, they've removed Bluetooth functionality from the S Pen. That means no more air actions, no more remote camera shutter, features that have been around since the Note 9. Samsung claims that less than 1% of Ultra users actually use them, but that still translates to around 200,000 people. If this is their logic, what's next? Dex. Because let's be real, way fewer than 1% of users are using that too. If they keep trimming features, the Ultra line might just turn into another generic Android flagship, losing what made it special in the first place. Display, small refinements, big impact. Samsung is using the same display panel as last year, but they've made 3 key upgrades. 1. Improved anti-reflective coating. While I don't notice a dramatic difference in reflectivity, I do like the new finish. 2. Better durability. The glass is now more resistant to fractures. However, there's a trade-off: it's slightly softer, which means it might be more prone to minor scratches over time. 3. Pro Scaler Tech. This upscales content by up to 40%, making lower-resolution videos look noticeably sharper. Cameras. Incremental but meaningful upgrades. On paper, the S25 Ultra's camera system looks nearly identical to last year's, aside from a new 50MP ultra-wide camera and an upgraded image signal processor. Thanks to better processing, image quality has improved despite similar hardware. The new 50MP ultra-wide sensor is a solid upgrade over the S24 Ultra's 12MP version. It's brighter, has more accurate white balance, and produces sharper images. Overall, photos look vibrant, dynamic range is solid, and edge detection in portraits remains the best in the industry. However, the 3x telephoto camera is still a 10MP sensor with a slightly smaller size, which feels outdated for 2025. Given how often people use zoom for better composition, Samsung should have upgraded this. On the plus side, they introduced some useful new features. For example, you can now smoothly adjust zoom levels in portrait mode, and video recording offers a more seamless zoom experience. There's even log video recording, which lets you shoot in a flat color profile for easier post-processing. Ironically, Samsung removed Bluetooth S Pen features due to low usage, yet they added log video recording, something even fewer people will use. AI features, the real selling point. One UI 7 brings a host of AI-powered features, and honestly, they work really well. From live call translation to smart photo search, Samsung's AI feels more practical than Google's and leagues ahead of Apple's half-baked attempts. Final thoughts. Should you buy it? The S25 Ultra is a refinement rather than a revolution. While Samsung could have done more, especially in battery and camera upgrades, the overall experience remains top-notch. The AI features are genuinely useful, the display is stunning, and performance is exceptional.